All right, y'all. I'm back. It's been what, 3 months? 2 months? 3 months? Welcome back to Legal Lounge. I almost forgot the podcast name.
Do you remember the slogan?
What was it? Have y'all been using the slogan? Did I create the slogan?
Did you really just forgot it?
What is it?
Mario, switch out with her. We'll take over.
What was the slogan? Remind me.
Where we talk about all things legal, but it's not advice.
Ah, wait. That's more clean. I don't think we came up that clean at the time.
We didn't.
We were still filming.
We didn't. We did.
Okay.
Y'all would say that.
She said it once, but it sounded...
It wasn't like that. Okay, well, welcome back to Legal Lounge, where we talk all legal, but not advice. Did I do that right?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get better. Anyways, I was gone because I gave birth to a child.
Why'd you say it like that? Like, I was gone because I gave birth to a child. Like,
no, but I wanted to talk about it because I learned a lot, but then I wanted to tie in a little bit for people who may be watching this and has experienced birthing, but then also like the issues that come along with it. I don't want to say issues, but I don't think people talk about it enough. Like one, postpartum depression. That's a huge thing. But then also just experience of just the legal process of how to have a child.
do you have that?
What?
Postpartum depression?
No. But then at the same time, I don't know if I will say this, I've had multiple breakdowns post-birth, but it was, I don't think it's depression because I'm not depressed. I think I would know what depression would feel like because you're down all the time. I don't know. I've never experienced it, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you. My doctor will ask me like, "Are you okay? You know, is everything okay? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling anxious?" I do feel anxious. Like I feel anxious even sitting here, knowing I don't have my baby with me. You know, so I do get those anxiety. Like, okay, is she gonna be fed? Is she gonna be okay? I know my husband's there with her, but I just have that thoughts of like,
I think that
I'm not there.
That comes with I think that comes with a lot of people because my brother's wife was like that too, and like I heard that like a lot of like moms, they're like overbearing when it comes to like the child, and it's like the mom is everything, you know, like feeding the kid, taking care of the kid is like the mom is typically the person that wants to do everything. Now, do they need to do everything if you have a partner? No, but the want, I think, is, I've heard that like a decent amount of times where, you know, if it's not them taking care of the kid, then it's crazy.
Is that instinct?
I think it's partly instinct. I think the instinctual aspect has to do with like the mental part of it to where they want to care. But I think that just comes with like being a first time parent, like you have your first child and it's like, you're like she said, you learn a lot. You're learning the ropes. And this is just my perspective on an outside view looking at my brother's wife and my brother's kids because I'm a part of their lives. So like I noticed those things in her too, but after the second kid, it's like, you know, he'll be fine.
And I think like if I'm not saying that I would, but if I was to have a second kid, I understand now. Like newborn stage is wild. Like it's crazy.
I think you'll only experience more.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty different stages, different things that's happening right now. But newborn, like first night. Okay, so let me kind of start the whole process.
Oh, and like another thing too is like whenever she would get really anxious and always had to check on the kid because it's like you're good, like you're still sleeping, you're not choking,
is it breathing?
Yeah,
right.
Those types of things where it's like it's a constant. You have to check. You have to check. You have to check. You have to check.
So my story, and not every woman goes through this, and to be fair, I did not have any complications during pregnancy. Like, everything was fine. I had a wonderful experience, and I even had breakdowns about that, like, oh my god, I'm not going to be pregnant anymore, and I got real sad, and I would just cry for like the last week. It was tough, and I was like, man, I'm so sad, like, I'm not going to have her with me, like that knowing that she's moving, she's here, she's there. I like that. That was comfort for me to know that, okay, everything is okay. And now that she's not going to be physically attached to me anymore, that, like, I felt the attachment broken.
Wouldn't that
You
be
know?
just the stage? In your mind, it's like
Mhm.
attachment, but what if in all reality it was you subliminally creating that like comfort in your head
Mhm.
because you knew you were pregnant, you wanted to have a good pregnancy, so you it like comforted you subconsciously to where it's like, she's here, and as long as I feel her move,
Right.
then I know she's okay.
Right.
And now that you've had her already, then your mind will probably shift into another state of that mind frame to where it's like, okay, she's not with me and I understand that, but now that she's actually born and she's her own being, you know, it's kind of up to either you or your husband to like know, because she can't tell you if
Right.
something's wrong.
Mhm.
And then when she was inside of you, you could probably feel if something was wrong or you would know. But now it's more so like you have to get used to knowing that like things are probably going to be okay. You don't have to worry as much about some of these things.
Mhm.
Because I mean, my first nephew was like it's like the trial run, you know? And then the second one, it's like smooth sailing because you already, you know what to do. But babies are different. So.
Right. Babies are different. But yeah, so smooth pregnancy, everything was fine. Even the birth too, like, everything was great. I would do the pregnancy and birth all over again any time of the day. Postpartum, like, oh my god, don't take me there, because the aftermath, the physical pain, the mental stuff, like, that was all hard for me all at once that people don't talk about. I watched YouTube videos on birth plans, what to do, what to expect, what does a contraction feel like. Mind you, I was having contraction all that time, and I did not know until we got to the hospital, because I had a scheduled induction, meaning I didn't wait until she was ready to come out. I did a scheduled one, so it's, to me, mentally, okay, everything is a plan for me. So it was just easier for me, and we wanted her in a January, not a February too. So that was another big part. But anyway, we got there, everything hooked up, and then I was having contractions. I did not know that I was having contractions all that time. But again, the birth process was great, amazing. Everything was smooth. Now, the part that I wish I could change now is staying at the hospital another extra night, because I think we rushed it. I know my husband was used to this because he's already is a dad and he knows what to do when you come home and what to do. But I didn't feel prepared, knowing like, okay, how am I going to feed my child? How do I make sure like my milk is producing and then like I can feed my kid? Like, I didn't know any of that. Like I said, I studied everything pre. I don't know why it didn't occur to me like, okay, this part exists too. And I just thought like, okay, it's a baby, take care, change diapers, feed him. Okay, cool. But it's just so technical. So that first night, oh my God. I mean, I was in tears. I'm in physical pain, mental pain, no sleep, because we came to the hospital 10 p.m. I didn't get situated in the bed, hooked up in monitors until midnight. So that whole 24 hours I stayed up. And then she didn't come until 3 p.m. That next day. So I didn't sleep for like 2 hours. Even at 2 days. Even at the hospital, you can only nap because she needs to be fed every 2-3 hours when you're a baby. So it's a constant, okay, she good? She's okay, she's not,
it's
she's
literally like
breathing.
Eat, sleep, potty.
Right.
Eat, sleep, potty.
Right.
Eat, sleep, potty.
And so I
like
did
burping.
I did not sleep all day until my mom came in town that weekend, and I was finally able to like actually rest. I was delirious.
But
that
you have to
first
get
night
like a
home.
reservoir of
2
food,
days?
right?
Yeah,
No sleep?
no sleep. Like not a full sleep, because even when you're hospital bed, I don't feel the pain, but you feel the discomfort. So it's not like I can deep sleep, and then they're constantly checking me too, to make sure I'm okay, the baby's okay. So I have to be awake. I can't just like take a nap and forget about it,
So you would put an alarm, go to sleep, put on an alarm, go to sleep, put on an alarm
Oh,
every
no.
2 hours?
Oh, no, not even an alarm. Well, you do have to wake her if she's sleeping too much, but she'll let you know when it's time to eat. So
No,
then,
but I'm talking about yourself.
oh, me? Oh,
Uh-huh.
I didn't go to sleep because I was too anxious. And
Are you taking a
then
nap?
what's the point? A little bit, but like what, 20 minutes? My husband took a nap, but they're constantly doing stuff to me, moving me. Epidural came, and all that stuff. Like everything was just like boom, 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 boom,
You
boom.
got
boom.
it, the epidural?
I did. I waited until I was pretty far along so I can feel. But again, they keep checking on me. It's like, you sure you're okay? Like the pain levels still okay? I was like, it's manageable. It's not bad. But until I got the epidural, I realized that, oh shit, like I was really uncomfortable and I just didn't realize. Because then after that epidural, I'm laughing, I'm talking, like I'm joking, I can still to this day feel where they stuck the needle in my back. So if I lean certain way, that whole, like, it feels like a square. That whole section, I can feel discomfort still. And I feel like, and a lot of women say that you will always have that pain.
It's a big ass
Mhm.
needle
Mm-hmm.
that goes directly into your.
And it doesn't hurt when you
spine.
get it.
No,
Mm-mm.
really.
It's just uncomfortable, but it didn't hurt at all.
They numb you before they put the needle.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's like any other needle.
Yeah.
Like when I got my MRI for my shoulder, dude, I was awake. I'm laying there. She's like, okay, well, like just roll up your sleeves. I'm like, okay, cool. And then she brings out this needle like this big. She sticks it in and like pushes all the fluid in there, and I can feel it. And it was like, ugh. But
Dude, but that goes into your shoulder.
but it didn't hurt.
Dude, epidural goes into your
Spine.
spinal cord.
I know,
Mhm.
but if it's
Oh
numbed,
my God.
then it doesn't hurt.
It was just that one out of all the stuff that was painful, the most painful thing, the whole experience was my doctor breaking my water. That fucking hurt. That was not fun. Oh, and the IV, because they can never find a good vein, so they had to put it on my hand. So that's, that kind of sucks. But epidural,
They had to force break your water.
if I'm being induced, because
How does that happen? I'm sorry. I'm just.
it's okay.
Is that the placenta breaking?
No.
What the water
No,
is?
No.
Well,
Placenta
placenta
stays in
is-
there. Placenta is what feeds
What'd
your
you
baby.
do with that?
Oh, they took it.
The placenta?
Yeah, they
Some
took it.
women eat it. and
Yeah,
make it
some
into
people
smoothie.
make it into
milkshake.
pills.
It says
Yeah.
Ugh.
I thought about that.
It's supposed to be really good for you.
It
like,
is.
really good for
because
you. It
it's
has a ton
really
of nutrients.
rich nutrients.
And some
Mhm.
people actually like cook it like a steak, bro. It's nasty.
I don't
Ew.
know about
No,
that.
I
I
don't know about that.
swear. I swear.
Like
No.
maybe make it into a powder and then.
No, I'm
just
telling
put
you,
it
people
into a
literally
smoothie,
like
but-
cook
Yeah.
it, bro.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought about it, but it's shit expensive to do that too. So I didn't care. I was like, go ahead and take it.
They just
But-
don't offer it. They'd be like, you want to take your placenta?
No, I had to tell my doctor beforehand, so they know how to prepare, how to give it to you.
Ah,
They can't just like
just cut it
bag
up
it
like
up,
a, like they just
right?
butcher it like a filet mignon. The
Mhm.
surgeon.
No, okay. So breaking your water. So your baby's is basically inside this balloon.
Some
Flu-
it's
full
like a
with
bunch
fluid.
of fluid.
Right. That's where it's living. So when the baby is
Embryo
ready
fluid.
to be born, it does it on its own to where it breaks the water. That fluid breaks the water. That's the fluid. Amniotic fluid is what it's in there. And that's when it releases and okay, baby is ready. Which, by the way, I thought it was just going to be one release and then they're done. Bro, you just keep fucking fluids coming out. But anyway,
That's crazy.
but because I got that induction, I
Is
didn't
it-
break my water at home. The doctor had to break it for me when it was time. When it was time to be. So then the labor, after that water is broken, the labor like kicks in. So within few hours,
Because then
She was
gravity
ready.
plays the part in
mhm.
pushing the baby down and you
Yeah.
pushing and all.
So how they
that
break it? They just punch you in the stomach.
No, she.
Punch you in. That's it.
Okay,
so they stick a needle.
Don't be terrified, but
stuff. They
she
probably poke a
she
hole
literally
in your shit.
shoved her whole like basically arm up in there and just did whatever it needed to do. That's why it fucking hurt like a bitch.
Punched you.
Oh,
And at that
my
time,
God.
I didn't have my epidural yet, so I could
Dude,
feel
no,
everything.
they didn't punch her.
No, they didn't
Dude,
punch her.
I'm kidding, but
Oh,
oh my god,
But
like that's
she can feel like her head and stuff already at that point. Yeah. Yeah.
so hurtful.
Yeah. So she
I wonder
literally.
did it just like pinch and then like a balloon, like a water balloon, if you were to pinch it,
That
and, like,
I don't
tear it,
know.
and then it just, or like what?
Or did you just explode it? Like just punch?
No, you don't punch it.
What
But
is up
it-
with this guy and
but
punching
it-
the baby?
But
bro?
it felt like
Maybe
she's
the
going
sack.
in there and like doing. It's like,
Oh my god! Like in your stomach?
no, I mean,
Oh,
of
it's
course, still
just-
don't.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just like this forceful, and it probably wasn't as forceful like I felt like she did. I'm
But
pretty sure it
whenever
wasn't.
you're having the
but it
baby
felt
too,
like
like everything is dilated, right? So
Correct.
it's a bigger than normal.
But
Still, I would
remember,
imagine it.
the
Oh yeah, most definitely.
what's bigger is your cervix, though, not the opening. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's your cervix that's opening up for her to come out
Yeah.
that way. But yeah,
So that was the worst part.
the breaking the water was
And
the
what
worst
about
part.
the like
Pushing.
The actual birth, they told me, first of all, there's so many people in that room. I don't know who's who. Like, besides from the nurse that was taking care of me. My nurses were wonderful. The night nurse that was there, the night that I checked in, she was great. The day nurse, when they switched shifts, she was wonderful. Like, they were both amazing, amazing nurses. And I cannot commend those people that do this job because it's a lot. And then they were amazing. And then once they were ready, my doctor called it too. She literally so remember I went in, everything was hooked up to me by midnight. Around 8:30, my doctor came in and checked on me. She's like, "Oh yeah, I think we should have this baby by 4:30 today." And I'm thinking like, "Bro, how do you know?"
4:30 in the morning.
No, 4:30 that afternoon. And I'm like, how do you know? You know? But I was like, oh, okay. And then sure enough, like she came in that time. But God, I forgot your question. What was your question? Oh, the actual birth part. Yeah, right. So like I said, I waited until it was I was around 5-6 centimeters dilated when I got my epidural. So then I was feeling good. You know,
Yeah, you
I
need
was
10.
fine. Right.
from what I understand.
Yes.
That's only like this much, isn't it?
Well, 6 centimeters, maybe just a little bit more. But yeah, because 10 is maybe here. Maybe.
10 is an inch, isn't it?
I don't know.
12
what's
isn't
in.
it? I don't know. I don't want to
Centimeters?
say because I'm gonna get blasted.
I
I
know,
thought it was
right?
like-
That we
I
don't
thought it
know
was
the
like-
information.
Like 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4.
But a centimeter is
5,
like tiny, like
and that's
this.
the half centimeter.
Yeah.
That's the half an inch.
No, it ain't. It's not that big like that.
No. Half an inch is about like this.
Yeah, inch
an
about-
is like
right.
this, right? So
Mhm.
5 centimeters should be half of an inch
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because it's like 5, and that's the half point, and then 5 more, and then that makes an
Mhm.
inch.
So
That's not a lot. I'm thinking that it was like more.
no, mm-mm.
Thinking like they
So-
have like a decent enough hole, bro.
no, because it still stretches.
But-
so
They numb you
for what?
that.
No,
that's what
the
the
epidural
epidural's
is. Yes.
for.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
How do you push if you can't feel?
Okay, so I'm gonna get there because my doctor was smart, and I love her for that.
It's like if you had to use a number 2, but somebody just put the epidural in your butt cheeks.
But you can't feel.
So the epidural, the anesthesiologist told me before she put the needle in, which you have to sign consent because, you could potentially be paralyzed, by getting epidural and all that crap, right?
That is.
Right. So then she was like,
What happens if you don't get the epidural?
you're going to have to do it. So there's other medications that you can get to numb it, like pain meds, like really high pain meds. But if you want it to be numbed, then epidural is your best bet.
Are you allowed to do like legal pain meds?
Mm-hmm. They have different options. Like you can do what's that gas? I don't know what's called. Like, but it's laughing gas. You can do that too. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so the anesthesiologist came in and told me you're not gonna feel pain, but you will feel pressure. And I'm like, okay. But I didn't feel that much pressure even when I was contracting. All this time, you're still contracting. It's just your contraction that the time intervals get smaller and smaller the more the baby is ready to come, right? So as we were getting there and the doctor finally, she came in around 2:30-ish, maybe almost 3 o'clock. And she's like, okay, let's have this baby today. And I'm like, again, you didn't even check me. How do you know when I'm ready, So we're ready to push and everything, and all these bunch of people come in, all these different nurses that I've never seen before. The nurses for the baby, you know, it's all separated
There's
from
a
us to
gyno
her.
and there's one
Right.
for you and one for the
Correct.
baby.
Correct.
What's the baby one? Is it like-
Neo something.
and that's the gyno for you.
Mm-hmm. And so all these people come in, they're like, okay, you know, holding the legs and all that stuff, and they're telling me to push. But again, like you're saying, I can't feel it. I can't
Peds?
feel what I'm pushing.
No.
So yeah,
Would that be
it's
peds?
it's
It's pediatrics,
pediatrics,
technically,
right?
right?
But it's for babies only. It's like Neo something.
Oh.
So
But anyways,
if there's a birth, I'm sorry. If
Oh, no, you're
there's
good.
a birth, what they do is that the
They have
Neo
a
one
team
take
for
care
the
of
person.
the
Yes.
baby, and then the gyno
gyno.
I
forgets
watch
about the
Grey's
baby
Anatomy.
and just okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you should get your you have a medical life.
I've watched Grey's Anatomy before, so
So you're good.
yeah. I know all this. I all that stuff.
You could do it.
Is
You
easy.
could do it.
So mind you, when you're in active labor, that's literally from start to finish. But
What
when
is
you're
inactive?
pushing,
What is active labor?
like as soon as you start getting the contraction and you're like in the labor process, that whole, when people say, oh, I was in labor for 24 hours, I was in labor for 6 hours, that's literally from start to finish. I thought when people say that, you're pushing or, you know, all that stuff, all that too. But no, pushing is completely separate. I only push for 30 minutes. Some women push for hours. But apparently I was textbook like
Oh,
case.
shouldn't the thing go the numbing go away after hours?
You kept pressing the button. They'll give you a button if you start to feel like it's wearing off, you can press the button to get more of the drips. Because it's attached to you.
You get drugged out.
The drip, the liquid that numbs
Drugs.
you is attached to my back the whole time.
More drugs.
So you're
Right.
like this? You're like
No. You can lay down.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can lay down and all that stuff. It's just all taped up on my back.
Ugh.
So if you start
So it
to feel
doesn't
pain,
move.
you just poop.
Right. But as soon as you get the epidural, you obviously, you know, you can't walk, so you're not allowed to move or do anything like that in case of paralysis, you know, but because the needle is still there. But anyway, so not the big
Just
giant
the needle. Oh, okay.
I think they only have the little
just
one.
the thought of
but
a
I don't
needle
know.
just sitting there like this,
Between
and it's-
your
yeah, or just like the thought of like moving. I wouldn't even want to move. I'd be like, I don't want to be paralyzed.
But anyway, so again, I'm pushing, but like I can't feel what I'm pushing. So they keep telling me, "Oh, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there."
Probably,
And I'm like, "Bro,
you
I
probably-
can't tell how much more you want me to push. I'm doing everything I can." So what my doctor did was
Probably, like,
she
peed
turned
on 'em.
off the epidural medicine little by little. She was telling the nurse that I didn't know this until my husband was telling me, because, you know, I'm focusing
Yeah,
on
you're
what the fuck
you're
in front of
crazy.
me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not listening to what people are talking. But she was telling the nurse to turn down my epidural when it was closer. And my doctor, I guess, knew that, okay, she needs to feel this in order for, because she keeps my baby was poking out, going in, poking out, going back in. So then they were like, okay,
Peekaboo.
she
First
needs-
game of peekaboo.
she needs to like feel this. So at the end, my doctor completely turned off my epidural, and then I felt it. So then, but it wasn't pain feel, but I could definitely feel what the hell I'm pushing. So then that made it
interesting.
easier for me to just go ahead and, all right, you know, let's get it out. Right.
Holy.
You probably like pee or crap yourself too, right?
Yes.
That's a real thing, right?
Yes, it is a real
'Cause
thing.
you're
Well,
numb.
not pee. You have a catheter. As soon as you get an epidural, you get a catheter because you can't go to the bathroom anymore.
You do
You probably crap yourself.
number
Huh?
2. And
If
it's
you don't
common,
go.
and it's common.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy. I think I watched a video in high school.
Birth?
Yeah.
They show you that?
Heck yeah, dude. It was
I've never watched it.
it was what class was that? It was like a
Like sex ed?
it was that class.
Mm-hmm.
It was like sex ed, parenting. It was a super easy class. That's why I took it at the end of the year, because I was like, okay, I have my credits. I can just take easy class. And it's like some I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't remember, but it was about that. It was about like this the educational aspect of all those things and raising a baby.
Oh, so you didn't actually watch the actual birth?
No, not in person. I watched it on video.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It showed that?
No, I sure did see. Yeah.
Damn. I didn't know they do that in schools.
Well, that was a few years ago.
But even
Probably
then.
changed now, with all the new age stuff. I don't want my kid being able to see
Yeah,
a natural
right.
born.
All the Karens.
Okay.
But that is
Talking
kind of
about-
wild, though.
Talking about Karens, what do you think about? Because I've heard that there's some women out there that take pride in just raw dogging it.
Yeah, like natural
not
births.
taking
So,
anything
Or they do it naturally where they sit in like a
Yes.
tub and it like
with like a
floats.
housewife,
Like,
Sort
it's
of,
called,
yeah.
God, midwife?
midwife,
Right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's another name, a doula, or I don't know. Anyways, I thought about that when I was a lot younger. I was like, when I'm ready to have kids, like it'd be nice to have, home birth and do like water birth. Because supposedly like the warm water is supposed to relax your muscles and it's supposed to be a little bit okay. But girl, you're going to still feel pain. So then I read a post right before it was time for me to give birth. You don't get rewards for doing natural, so just get the damn epidural. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because why would I like
Peace of mind.
toughen
just
up
pride.
and
It's
right
peace of
It's
mind.
just pride.
It's
and be
peace of
like,
mind, too,
I
though.
don't need medications. I don't need this, that, and the
They
third.
don't
I'm
want
gonna
to
push
take
it.
a chance on an epidural.
That is true.
The chance is
It's peace of
low,
mind.
but
It
there
is really
still
low.
exists.
Right. So then I was like, why am I going to do that? But again, my point was I wanted to actually like feel like what is this supposed to be like? What is it supposed to feel like contractions? I still don't know until this day, but that's okay. But at least I got to feel the push, and that's all I wanted. I don't want to feel the opening, you know what I mean? And then stretched out. I didn't want to feel that.
No.
I just wanted enough pressure for me to know where she got. Okay, this is how much I need to push. Because they kept telling me over and over and over again, oh, you're right there. You're right there. You got this. You got this. You're right there. I'm like,
And you were not
I don't know.
doing what like you. I imagine you were trying to like doing it in your mind to push, but maybe like because you couldn't feel it, you didn't even realize.
I was giving my everything. They had to put
She definitely.
oxygen mask to me
Ah.
because I was like losing my breath because I'm just like giving my all. And that's why all these people came in. They're like, oh, she's like textbook perfect of like how it should be.
Oh, it turned into like training. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why, like, because some women, especially first-time moms, they'll be pushing for hours. Like I said, 30 minutes in. Thank God I wasn't doing that shit for hours. Because you have to wait until your peak of your contraction, and then you push, and you have to wait again, until the contraction's ready. And see, that part I didn't
So
know
until
that
you got the next contraction, her like top of her head was just
right.
chilling,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would go back.
And of
'Cause
course,
you
like
couldn't
my
feel it.
husband's watching it, and they're like, "Oh, you can see
Is he
your
all
head. You can see
suit
your
up
head."
and stuff?
That's only for
Prenatal,
No.
premature?
Well, yeah, that too. But dads
like for
will
them
wear.
to help
Mm-mm.
deliver it.
Dads will wear that when you're doing C-section because of all the potential infections and bacteria because you're opened up, So that's why they're suited up like that, but not for when you're doing normal. Yeah. But yeah, so that was that, and then like I said, the aftermath. I've had so what you were talking about your sister-in-law, the thought of her being alive is like my biggest fear, like especially the first night because we
Every
were
little noise you hear, you're gonna go run
right,
to her and check on her. Yeah.
right, and like the way she's screaming, I'm like, oh my God,
It almost sounds like it's like
I don't know how to help
it
you.
sounds painful.
Right.
Almost.
Oh, and then, so this is one thing that the entire process, what I didn't like was, so you have lactation nurses, which they help you nurse your baby, like how to nurse it, whatever. I feel bad for some women because some women don't have a great latching
Yeah.
experience, but thankfully, like my baby latched like immediately. But what they didn't tell me was, hey, I can stop her from latching. I thought I'm just supposed to have her on me for as long as she needed. So she was on me for over an hour.
You could overfeed her, probably, right?
Well, yes, but at the same time, like, it's soothing for them too, because they just came into this world. They don't know what the hell's going on. They only know me. You know, she knows my scent, my smell, my voice, whatever. So they just want to latched on. So I'm just doing it. She probably wasn't even getting milk. She was just doing it, you know, just for whatever is soothing.
Is that how
Like
they
a pacifying kind of thing.
But
Correct.
isn't that how they become like dependent?
Yes, it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
you have like
to
5-year-old
limitations,
kids that are
right.
still yeah.
No,
I
but
just don't
maybe
want the
not
thumb
dependent.
sucking.
Maybe just that's how you continue to build like a connection with your baby.
Yes.
the
So
emotional
skin to
connection.
skin, they leave the baby on you for a whole hour.
That yeah.
They do that with
Yeah.
the dad too.
Yes.
Right? They did it with him?
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. Uh-huh.
Nice.
But my thing was that the part that didn't tell me, because she was on me for so long,
skin I learned about that skin to skin thing. It's not only for like the recognition, but it's also gives them health benefits. So like babies that are having that are premature, being around another baby or being close or feeling skin to skin touch can promote like positive health effects.
Yeah.
And sometimes like, you know, a baby that's having a struggle, having a hard time making it, if you have some type of skin to skin contact or you're able to provide some sort of comfort to that baby, then it'll help them get better.
It helps
It's a real thing. It's
get
crazy.
what's it called? Oxytocin, right?
Is that
That's the happy one hormone, right? Yeah, that's to be more, I don't know how to word it, but yeah, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Soothing for them.
Right.
And for you.
But anyway, so she was on me for like over an hour, so I started bleeding, like cracked and bleeding. So
Cracked?
then, yeah,
What does that mean?
my nipples.
Oh,
Because she was on me for a whole like hour. Like she was
dang,
on
that's crazy.
for too long and nobody told me.
I got like irritated, dried out, and
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
So then by the time I got home and then I had to feed her, both sets were like shot. And I'm like, bro, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like it's hurting me. I can't do it.
That sounds
So
painful.
I'm crying. She's crying because she's hungry. So that first night, I'm telling you, was awful because as a mother, I did not know what to do to help my baby.
What did you do?
I had to like push through it. But at the same time, like, bro, like I can only do it for like a couple minutes and I can't even do it for 10 minutes
was that
because it was
painful.
hurting. Right. I mean, it was scabbing. It was that bad. So, I mean, after I got through it, then
don't
everything
have,
started to be normal.
They don't
But
have like things that you could put over on top. That's like,
yes. So I did get that, but she didn't like it.
oh,
So that was even like,
that probably had to be something that you do from that first latch
mm-hmm.
because that's their first understanding of it.
Yeah. And yeah. So yeah, the first night was bad, but again, back to like postpartum and all this stuff and what women go through. I thought even for me, okay, you know, I'm a mom. Thankfully, I'm in a situation where I am married. My husband is a very active dad, but I'm learning what he could provide for a newborn versus a kid that's already like independent. Does that make sense?
What he can provide for a newborn.
Right. Because mentally, I feel like I can't do anything because no matter what, she's going to need me. My husband can go and cut the yard, go do groceries, get food, whatever he
'Cause
needed to do.
He can't feed her or anything.
Right.
Like that.
Unless I have a bottle ready for him, which I do. You know, that's why I'm here now.
But
You
that's
know?
about the only thing that he can't do.
Right. And so like to mentally was like, can I cuss, like fucking me up to where like, okay, I'm doing this forever. Like I can never leave. I can never take a break. I can never, because like there's moments where she'll sleep for like 20 minutes and she's back up wanting to eat again. So I'm back doing that again and again. And I have to find time to like, okay, I got to pump because I need time to like do this. And it's easier if it's bottle fed, but then I wasn't producing. So it's like, okay, what the hell am I going to do? Like, how can I keep feeding? So it's like mentally. And then of course, like my poor husband, he can only just comfort me and like watch me, you know, watch us, you know, struggle. There's only so much that he can do. So to me, I didn't put that 2 and 2 together going into pregnancy and going into the motherhood to be like, I felt like I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah.
Even though
but
I'm not.
beforehand, it was like, he's going to help you and
Right.
you guys got it because he's already had his kids
Right.
before you told me this.
Right.
And then now you realize, wait, I kind of am in this pretty much alone as far as the responsibility of the upkeep
Feeding.
of
Right.
feeding and
Right.
all that
keeping
stuff.
And
the
I'm not
baby
saying
alive.
like he's not helping or anything like
It's
that,
just
but
he can't.
there's just limitations. And I feel bad for him because he's getting frustrated, naturally, because we both were like, okay, how can we make her happy? Eventually we got it, obviously, like everything was okay. Oh my God, can you hear my stomach?
No.
Like my mom coming in town was a blessing. And I didn't think it was going to be that much of a blessing until she came in. And my mom specifically asked me, okay, what do you want me to do to help you? She was like, I'm here for you. Like, of course, she's here to see the baby. But she was like, I'm here for you. I told my mom, I said, cook every night. I can't. I didn't know. And even sometimes it's still a struggle now to like, okay, yes, I got the baby. But now I got to worry about my other family, like rest of my family. How am I going to feed everybody else? How am I going to get everybody up and ready for school
DoorDash.
and do all that? DoorDash?
Dad.
I'm telling you,
They make bank of you right now.
If this happens again, my baby shower, bro, just give me DoorDash gift cards. I swear we spent over $500 easy within a few weeks. Easy. Because there's no way I'm going to cook right now. I don't have time. And I have to sleep, at the same time.
Sleeps for the week.
They tell you, oh, sleep when the baby's asleep. What? I have shit to do. Like when she's asleep, that's the time for me to get my shit done. So it's like finding the time to sleep and then do everything. And then mind you, I was still working.
You're an animal.
So taking all of that plus working was insane. But I did put my laptop down at the times that I do needed to put it down and just like actually like rest and just take everything in.
But most of the time you were like clocked in and working whenever you could.
Oh yeah, don't watch this. But yeah, everything's fine now, but for sure DoorDash, like things that you didn't think you need.
Why don't you
like,
just call me? I'll cut you the price in half and I'll go pick up all your food.
What, drive all the way to friggin' Katy? Oh my God. But I'm telling you, I feel like some of these DoorDash people are just waiting for our house to pop up like, oh, they're ready again. But no, but postpartum sucks. Yeah.
Do you have postpartum?
No. For the most part it's been fine. After my mom left, I think that's when I had my breakdown, to be honest. My mom just kind of kept me sane and let me sleep.
It's probably from being overwhelmed.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay, I've been overwhelmed this whole time while she was here. It felt a little bit better. Now that she's gone, I know that I have to face all of this all over again and feel like that possibly again. Like
there was a moment I was driving to HEB to pick up groceries. I do pick up every time because I don't have time to go inside and do the actual groceries. So I did everything online. I was going to do pickup and I went by myself. I just left. I barely said anything to my husband to go, oh, I'm going to do this. I'll be right back. I just got the keys and left. And I'm crying the entire time driving to HEB because this is the first time like I get to be away and actually do something. Yeah. Like I don't ever leave the house. You're really not supposed to when your baby's so small anyway. And we're already cautious enough with the kids going to school and germs, that's already there anyway. So we never really left the house. And the first HEB pickup, I'm just crying. And I'm just like, man, I wish my mom stayed for another week. I wish my mom was here. But now she's about to be 2 months. She's great. She's smiling a lot more and like not... because they tell you they smile unintentionally. Now you can tell she's smiling intentionally to where like you kind of making noises with her and she's happy that you're there in front of her. She's starting to see a little bit better because you can see her like follow, new faces that she's never seen before and just be curious about it. So that's been nice to kind of see and look. But yeah, postpartum, I know it existed, but I didn't think it was another side of just being depressed.
Dude,
like
some
that-
people get it like bad.
Yes.
Some people become like angry.
So
And they take it out on the child. It's
have you
crazy.
heard of this woman, Andrea Yates? It's a case. It's just, and I wanted to circle back to them because at the end of the day, this
we
is a
talk about
legal
this case?
podcast.
Did we talk about the case?
No, we did not. So she's from Houston, actually.
Shout out.
She's had shout out.
The
It's always
worst,
Houston.
always
That's a
the
whole-
worst people.
I know,
Mhm.
right?
ever.
That's the
Like,
worst shout out. But
Houston.
she's from Houston. This happened back in the 90s,
It's
I
never
believe.
like
Denver,
Nebraska,
Colorado, or
It's Houston. But she had 5
Maine.
kids, and she drowned all of her 5 kids. And instead of criminally, well, obviously she was charged, but they deemed her as unfit, mentally unfit because of postpartum depression.
Bro, but how does that? There's no control. Like, is there really no control, dude? Because drowning, that's not just a like. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like
She did it in a span of an hour.
it's like
All 5 of her kids.
it's a process, and it's fucked up noise. I don't mean to cuss, but it's like messed up noises that you're hearing. It like the sound of somebody dying isn't just like nothing like
Right.
people think. It's
Your own
there's sounds
kids.
to it, bro.
Right.
There's sounds to it, and drowning your children, 5 of them, dude, that's gruesome, bro. Like, how do you like? Even if somebody that was depressed, like, but I know it's a different type of like mental thing, but like, how do you really not have like control at all,
I
She
don't
was-
know.
or does it literally make you like manic?
I mean, I feel like that kind of thing to a normal sane person, of course, it drives
I mean,
you
I
crazy.
know,
But
I know not.
if you're all mixed up in the head, I feel like you don't feel or think or you just do it and that's it. And she must have like some underlying like mental health
And I
condition.
read too that she didn't want, I don't know about all her kids, but she didn't want some of her kids, but her husband was pressuring to have more kids. So that could be another huge reason too, that you just feel disconnected. So I'm on Facebook groups for like first time moms and like breastfeeding groups and all that stuff, right? So I
They just share
read
tips. And
yeah,
this
I
and-
read posts all the time. Every day I'm reading, right? And it has helped a lot. Like that community of like going through the same thing as you has helped a lot. And I think I'm keeping my sanity because knowing that there's other women that's going through the same exact shit every single day like I am, that has helped me. So every now and then I'll see posts like, hey, I just had this baby, a couple weeks ago. He's 6 weeks old now, but I still have no bond I don't feel the connection with my baby. I read this recently.
What does she mean, like the connection of
like
bond?
she doesn't love him.
Like
the
this
baby.
lady just feels like it's just a baby. That's
Mhm.
just a
Do you
baby.
Like it's not
feel-
her.
I mean, do you
Right.
feel like are
That
you
happens.
supposed to feel off the rip like that?
You would-
I feel like you would develop that.
No, I think it depends. Like some people instantly, some
mhm.
people
Okay,
a
I
little bit of
just-
time, some
I
people
just gave
never.
this some thought and I imagined myself and I got an instant like I would. I mean, to be like this is my baby.
How
Like,
do you know?
well,
Mhm.
what I'm saying is like if I were to have a child, I know that once the child was born, it would be a happy feeling like being like this is my baby, and I know off rip that I would feel a connection to it.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like for women, it's like mixed signal. It's mixed signal city. Because it's like, okay, you're going to have this baby. It should be happy, but at the same time, you're feeling so much pain. Like you're feeling pain of the pregnancy, of the contraction, of this, of the operation, this and that your brain like receives so many mixed signals that you start to interpret that baby with the pain that you experienced or with
Yeah.
the social pain
Mhm.
that
That's part of
like
the
I feel like
postpartum.
Yeah.
that's
They
how
say
you
that.
get like
They say that.
mixed
It's like
up.
you're resenting your child
Yes.
because you made me go through all these
Mhm.
things,
Yes,
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like I
like
think that's
subconsciously,
part
not even
of
consciously.
postpartum though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
That stuff is crazy.
And then some of that bond stuff, like that typically, well, what I've heard
But like
happens a lot for dads, because to me, I felt the connection, naturally, because she was in me for 9 months, so I felt like I already knew her, like the way she moves,
100%.
the way like her schedule was with versus, my schedule. Like I kind of felt like I knew her. And that's why I think I was so sad that week of, because I wasn't gonna, like you said, like I didn't have that anymore. So I felt disattached. And so I was nervous going into, okay, now there's this physical being. How am I going to be okay feeling that attachment still? And I do. And I think maybe some
I think
women
it'll
that
grow over time too as they
broken.
get older. Right?
Yeah.
And their personality comes out. And
yeah.
like you said, they start smiling
Right.
towards you. I think that would probably
Yeah.
come a little bit over time. But like y'all said, some people don't feel that
Mm-hmm.
from the very beginning.
And for dads, I heard you said it, that for dads it's a lot more common
Right.
to not feel attachment.
That's why that skin to
'cause it's
skin
not-
is so important, like right after, to try to get that bond.
It's not as deep as a
Yeah,
connection.
But when they
right?
grow up, they turn into the daddy phase.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if
For
it's
the
a
first-
girl.
I think most of the time early on, it's going to be the mom's going to have more of the connection.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they start getting a little bit older and a little bit more personality, and then it's daddy all day.
They say it
Mhm.
depends. They say especially girls have a deeper connection with their dad
Mm-hmm.
than boys, and boys have a deeper connection with their typically.
My
Yeah.
They say that.
nephews-
They just say that
my-
in the old rural towns of
Yeah.
Texas and all over
My
the world.
oldest nephew's definitely daddy. My youngest nephew is glued to my sister-in-law's like hip right now, to where she has to like sneak out. Like I'll distract my nephew and then she'll sneak out and he won't even. But if he sees her leave, then he might get a little emotional. But if he sees my brother leave,
He's okay.
I don't
He's
know.
chilling.
It's kind of like normal. I don't know. It's difficult, but I think my youngest nephew's still daddy. But
That's the
he
part.
just runs to his mom for it. He follows her.
That's the part that I do kind of not jealous. I don't know if that's the right word for to my husband, because like he gets to stay home with her, right?
Mhm.
And we're not planning on getting a daycare for her to be sent to or getting a nanny. Like our next door neighbor had a baby too, and she has a nanny that comes like early mornings, and she's also pregnant again. So I understand that she's gonna need a nanny. But I feel like, damn, like these moments I hope I'm not missing by being at work, to where she might get the deeper connection with dad because all she sees is dad. Mom only comes around evening, afternoon time.
So now you're going
You know?
into.
So it's like I hope I
want to be a mommy.
and I wouldn't do that to my husband, but
You're already
I
doing
hope
it.
like her and I basically will still have that bond even when she does get older, Obviously she's both of our kids.
I think these are like regular first time mom thoughts.
It is.
Like
I
slight
think so.
jealousy because it's like, man, I wish she liked me more than him. You know?
Because I'm telling you, mentally I just
Man,
feel
I
like
hope-
I'm just here to feed her and she's
See, you know what's crazy is
whatever,
like
bye,
when
Mom.
you say that, right now you're a first time like mom is like the very beginning. She's still like newborn. And then you think about like in our positions or even your position because you have a mom too, where it's like you think about that and it doesn't change.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. Moms still feel like that even when we're this old.
Yeah.
Where it's like I don't know about your situation, but I've heard my mom.
Wait, I didn't understand.
Basically, here, let me break it down. She feels like, oh, so like I feed you, I do everything for you, and then it's forget about mom. Right? And when you grow up, that's like a typical thing that I think moms will it's like a thing universal. It's all the way. It doesn't change. Because when I think about my mom, and my mom thinking like, that she's entitled to like 50% of my income because she raised me and took care of me. And then I grew up and it's like, oh, you're good to go by yourself now. It just doesn't change with moms. It doesn't change. So it was funny because when you said that, it like clicked in my head. I was like, man, it really just doesn't change, huh? So it's like it's much deeper than we probably could ever imagine until you're a parent.
And maybe postpartum follows all the way through. I don't know. Like, I thought postpartum was only for like right after birth, but I didn't know it could be a year.
I've seen something that people go
months,
go to it like for a year, and they have support groups for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like some people do deal with it for like a year, and I'm like, that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
you can
crazy.
take meds for it as well. I think.
But like a year though, but you don't want to take meds because then you're feeding the baby.
No, but I mean, if you're like 2 years in, you're not. How long do you need to
like
feed
2
your baby
years
for?
in?
To feed, some people do it up until like a year old.
No,
like,
but there's like a specific like date, month
so
where
like
they can
she
eat
can
real food.
she can start eating solid 6 months, around 6 months or so.
That's old. To be, you get to that stage, you're gonna hate it, bro.
Like to be introduced, just a little bit.
She's gonna hate it because she's gonna be scared of everything.
What to see she's gonna choke?
No, but you give like little
because they do choke. They do choke sometimes.
Even when she starts sometimes like choking, she chokes right now with the milk because she's going too fast.
This one's gonna sound a little bit more of like a, like a little bit more like, oh crap.
No, but you start with like pastes and stuff with like
Herbert,
sort of, right?
It depends on certain
like
people.
strawberry.
Speaking of choking, so again, this is a part that I didn't know. The baby has swallowed so much fluid from being inside of you that they're continuously still trying to spit that up until like 1 or 2 days old, 3 days even. So the first couple nights, and she's like coughing crazy like that, and she's spitting so much like crap out. And I'm like freaking out. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, breathe. And that's
my
why
baby is puking.
And like shaking baby syndrome, right? Like that happens. Well, one, because you're just so frustrated and you're just like shaking it to like, oh, go to sleep or whatever. So like a lot of deaths happen because of that. But yeah, no, I was freaking out.
My brother's wife had like one like really bad moment where she like panicked really bad because I think my oldest nephew like kind of choked on something and she had to like reach her finger. And there's like a specific way. You should learn it. I don't know if you know this already, but I think there's a specific way
maybe
to...
What do you call it? Heimlich maneuver?
There's that, but then there's... I think there's another way to like...
Get it out?
Where it's like you go from like a side and you just go to the back. And you be careful, of course, because it's their throat and they're still very gentle. But there's a way to like do it and then try to pull it out of their throat, but it happens and it's scary. So she was really scared a lot, like
with the second
in the beginning. No. The second one was like he'll because I was gonna say fine.
Like if it happened to the first one, you would be.
But they can take
again,
a lot more than what you think. Is what I'm getting at. Is like he was choking, but he was just choking because he probably ate too fast or maybe a piece was too big. But sometimes it just happens.
Yeah,
but they'll
you
be
unlocked
fine.
another fear. Like, okay, now I'm gonna watch that video when I get home.
Yeah,
like,
make sure to just like know how to stay like calm. Because if they do choke, it's not like something to where it's like you have 5 seconds or they're dead. But it's more so like
in
you
that
need to do something.
You really feel like that though.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, she's gonna die. And I said this to my husband because one night she was just crying like crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like I couldn't help her. And so I told my husband crying in my face, like, I cannot take another chance. Like I can't do this all over again. Like if something was to happen to her and then me being pregnant, and like I see that in like Facebook groups too. Like, I just lost my baby and we're trying for another baby immediately again. And I feel for them so much because you just went through this whole experience, 9 plus 10 months, however long, and then your newborn phase, and then something happens, and then you have to start that process all over again.
Get your mind out of those.
So like that first week, I told my husband, like, I can't do this again. I can't risk her being dead.
But
touching wood, I think you're like out of the like That was the
Yeah.
hardest part.
Yeah.
Right. That's like where the
Right.
if something's gonna happen, would happen.
Right.
Now
Because
they're
I'm
out
like,
of that.
I'm checking constantly too. Like, I get afraid from me going to sleep because what if
The
I
hard
don't
part,
hear her?
the
or,
hard
you
part
know?
now is it's external instead of internal.
Mhm.
Rather than her being internal, now you're gonna face issues where it's external, like eating the food or
Yeah.
choking or, you know, things like that, or getting
Right.
sick. You know, when they get sick for the first time, you're
Right.
gonna feel like crap.
I know.
And you're gonna feel bad too. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh my god, you're gonna cry probably
Yeah.
so many times. These are just the things that I picked up on from the things that, you know, my brother's wife has been through, because she didn't have like the most it hasn't been the most like calm, like easy going. But like, for instance, my oldest nephew, the first time that he got a really bad boo-boo, they were at a restaurant.
What's
And
a
he was
boo-boo?
running around like
Like you
hurt. He got hurt. And they were at like a Gringos, I think, or something like that. And there was like a little grass area.
Mhm.
And, you know, he's over there playing around the glass area, running around. Bink! Hits like right here, cuts it, like he busted his head open basically.
Oh my god, he had to get stitches?
Yeah.
Oh.
He still has a little scar right here, but it was
Oh.
the worst. It was like the
Yeah, you
worst
bleed a lot
for my brother and his wife. You know, it's like, dang, it's almost like you get a new car, it's one's materialistic, one's a human, but you get a new car and then you scratch it right after. It's like, fuck, like I wish I would have taken more care of this. And that's where it falls on the parent, where it's like they feel bad. But now with with my youngest nephew, I mean, he just does his own thing, bro.
But that's an
He's
injury.
cool.
That's an injury that you can see.
But
Like, imagine
you can prevent that.
No, yes, but for example, for something internal, for example, if they
That
get
too.
the first flu, they can't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But
know,
they'll tell
right?
you that you're sick.
My throat is clogged, and
Yeah.
Because
I have
I
mucus.
even asked my husband, like, how
don't
would I
know.
know?
Oh, you're talking about at a young age. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like they can tell you.
Yeah,
They just cry,
Yeah.
and they
But
won't tell you what's wrong.
Typically, I mean, they like I think. Oh, another thing too is like, you know, once they start to get older, anything. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Let's not traumatize.
No. But
Lorenzo.
these are some of the things I'm like thinking about that it makes me think about it. Where it's like, you know, at a young age they can't tell you, but the things like the ear infections or the
Mhm.
circumcision, things can go
Mhm.
wrong.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful, dude, because some of these places are like absurd.
Yeah, because we have to be careful when we're bathing her to like make sure that the
The
water
ear
doesn't go in
infections,
there and
yeah.
stuff like this. So I'm constantly like drying it,
Yeah.
you know, because she's
Yeah.
rolling around everywhere.
Like one of my nephews right now, he's having problems with his ears. And like my cousin, for instance, like they had a baby where like the heart was like flipped.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or upside down. One of those two. It was like flipped
That's
or
super
upside
rare.
down. Yeah, and he's good. Like, I mean, that one, oh my gosh.
Like flip
He's
like
got
this
so
on
much
the,
he's
on
got
the
so
right
much
side,
energy.
or flip like on the left side.
I can't remember. I don't
That's
remember. It was a
crazy.
long time ago. But he's good. But it's like, you know, if God forbid, you know, if you were to learn about something like that, then
Let me
you
tell
know,
you a
it's
story
scary.
before we wrap this up. So at the hospital, you know, they check everything, right? Her vitals, everything to make sure everything's working correctly. Which, by the way, I mean, this is so much different than how it used to be back then. Because back then, they'll take the baby to the testing room to get all this shit done. Now, they bring the whole equipment to your room and do everything because the whole baby could get kidnapped. It could be swapped. You know, I mean, she even had a GPS tracking on her foot. I mean, it's crazy now. But anyway, so it was the day to get all the testing done for her ears
dude, her feet are like this big right now,
to make sure like she can hear, right?
So cute. It's so cute.
So we don't, well, I don't know how to test vision, but anyway, so they come in and they put this big old like headphones on her ears, right? And she's all wrapped up, swaddled up, and she has her pacifier in her mouth. So all you can hear is her, you know, making movements of the pacifier. And the nurse comes in and then they put the thing on her. And I didn't know how they do the testing. I thought like when you're in school, I don't know how it is in Honduras, but when you do the hearing test and you hear a beep, you have to raise your hand, right? I thought it was kind of like that. Like
For driver's license?
No. Just in school, they test you for hearing. They didn't do that.
They do like vision. They'll do
Vision,
like
yeah.
a vision exam, a hearing exam, and then they'll check you for lice.
Go play ball.
Yes.
If you can play ball, you're good. If you
So-
can't, then
So anyway, so I was like, I wonder how they're gonna tell. Like, is she supposed to make movements?
She's probably gonna
You
start
know,
crying if she
to-
reacts to the sound.
Right. So that's what I thought it was gonna happen. The whole time she's testing her, my baby's silent. Like she's not doing
And
anything.
you're like, oh my god, she's deaf.
yes.
You're like, no.
I'm
What am I gonna do to
I'm
learn sign
literally
language?
freaking out and texting my husband at the same time. I mean, he's not even paying attention to the phone or nothing. He's just chilling, you know. And I'm like, oh, my baby's deaf, like, because I'm looking at the nurse and she even has like a concerned look on her face. I'm like, oh shit. But then like my husband was like, she's not deaf. I dropped the remote, the night before, and then she like freaked out. But in my head, I'm like, bro, she's deaf. Like, like what am I gonna do? And then she finished and she's like, oh, she barely passed at the end. And I'm like, like, what does that mean? Her noise of the pacifier was messing up her test because they track their brain waves of her reaction. Crazy. That's how can they tell if she's, okay or not.
If their like brain waves show like stress or any type of like signals that
Reaction, I
comes
guess.
from like a loud noise or
Right.
like the stress of hearing something and being startled.
Right. But then the noise of the pacifier was messing up the brain, waves of how to do the testing. So that's why she kept
Shouldn't
prolonging
they know
it.
that?
I know. And I'm like, just
Shouldn't
take
they be
the
like
pacifier out.
Yeah, like wouldn't they know like, okay, we're gonna have to take the pacifier out just so it doesn't mess with the machine?
Right.
Or does she
But
just
she
like
didn't
barely
even
pass?
say anything.
Or does she just pass her and
No,
or
she
is
said
deaf?
she barely passed because, the pacifier. And then she didn't want to do another, because if she was to deem that she needs another testing, we would have to come back and do like a whole nother scan that's like completely different. And she didn't want us to do that. She just needed for the machine to say that she passed. She knew that she passed. She just wanted the machine to say it. So she kept trying and trying and trying. Like, bro, you couldn't talk? Like, you couldn't tell us that? Like, because you have a concerned face all this time and my baby's not doing anything. Like, because I could have sworn she would start crying or do something. But she just stayed quiet, just chilling. I'm like, huh? But anyways,
Crazy.
yeah.
I was terrified to hold my nephew when he was born, my oldest one. I was terrified.
yeah, you just
He was
feel like
so
you're gonna
small.
drop it.
Yeah.
Nah,
Don't drop it.
I'm
No,
sitting there.
Don't
I'm
drop it, don't.
terrified,
I'm
like
sitting there and
breaking
I'm
her
like-
bones.
I'm like, dude, he is so small.
She's so tiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. Like, okay, am I
Just
holding her shoulder
bending.
okay?
Bending is the only thing.
Yeah.
They could take, a little bit of, bumping and bruising, but
Like, I can hear her.
anything that's like bending or anything that they look uncomfortable, I was like,
Because, you can hear your bones crack when you're stretching or something or whatever. You move certain way. I can hear her bones crack like that.
really?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Because when she's swaddled up and when we, like, take the swaddle out and she's, like, stretching, sometimes you can hear it. Yeah.
Must feel so satisfying. She'd be in heaven.
So then
that
I'm
type of
like,
stuff.
She's all like,
I hope we didn't break her, shoulder or, like, arm. But
yeah,
you know,
they're so
she's
small.
fine.
I was it took me a long time
What,
to get used to like
Yeah.
doing anything with him because I was like, he's so tiny. I
Mhm.
don't want to do anything bad.
Mhm.
But he was where I had to like learn a lot of those like things of like the holding the neck and sometimes where I'd have to hold him while my brother's wife went and did something and he was at work. So now at the youngest one, I mean, it's like smooth sailing.
How old is the youngest one now?
He's like 2.5 maybe.
Damn.
Yeah.
That went by fast. I was going to ask you, how many months is he? But damn.
My oldest one's like 4
Wow.
or 5. I think he's 5 now.
That was so quick.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. It's actually insane. Like my oldest one, he's pretty much like he's smart. Like I can have actual conversations with him now
Mm-hmm.
and like talk to him about like why we don't do this and why I just had to put you in timeout because you weren't listening to me. And why it's coming across as me being mean, but I'm just
Mhm.
trying to make sure that you're safe, He's starting to pick up on some of those things, but so that's cool because I like that. He's like my little henchman.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm
I've been-
excited to see her grow
I've
and
been like,
what
hey.
kind of personality she's gonna have. You know,
I've been like, hey, oh,
Is it gonna be yours
can you go
or
get
your
me one of
husband's
those?
I
or
know.
a mix?
Mm-hmm.
She gonna have your temperament or her or
Right.
his?
Right. Especially like even with the older kids right now, and like how we want
From
them
what
to
it sounds
strive
like, it'll
and
probably be his temperament, no? Because
I
he's
don't
calm.
know.
He's pretty calm and like
He
collected
is.
and like laid back.
But
And
you'd
you
be
said that
surprised
she
because he's
wasn't
very
really-
anxious though about certain things. So I feel like she's gonna get a shit ton of anxiety.
Oh yeah, she's gonna. Your anxiety with his?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
We'll
not.
see.
No, I'm not even gonna say that because I don't want to.
You just never know. It's
probably
all
just
it's all
gonna-
about how you cope it. And as long as like we give her the space to make sure she understand what she's feeling and like how you cope with what you're feeling.
That learning part is
Because
big.
everybody has anxiousness. Everybody has anxiety.
The learning
you
part
know?
is big because there's kids like I mean I don't want to tell anybody how to like parent their kids, but I've been around people where they have their kids and they're around like 2 or something like that, and they're like stubborn, they're brats because it's like they don't want to parent them because
Mhm.
they want to stay in that like oh, I'll give you whatever you want.
That
But it's like,
gentle parent.
but then you have instances where now you're outside and you're somewhere not in your home and you're in a stroller or something like that, and they have their toy and they start wanting the things that you want, and if they go like they want something that they want and you give it to them, they get used to that, and now they're always gonna think, okay, I want this person's gonna give it to me. And when they don't give it to you, now you're gonna start crying and throwing the temper tantrum. Now you have the child that's not getting what they want, so they're just gonna be like
Have some
like that.
thoughts
So sometimes
on
you
that.
gotta be like, no. Like with my nephew, my youngest one, him, I'll tell him, I'll be like, no, Ethan. And you know what he does? He'll fall on the floor and then he'll like start to cry. I'm like, Ethan, no. I'm like, no. And then he'll just look at me and be like, and then he'll get up and do whatever he wants to do. So I'm like, you're being a brat right now, dude. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or
What were you gonna say?
stuff like
I feel
that.
like sometimes you have to let them win in order, like it has to be a balance, like you said, because like in one part you want them to like be, disciplined and obedient and this and that, but
the
you also wanna
obedience
cultivate-
comes like later on.
you also want to cultivate a little bit of like assertiveness, and like if they want this, and you start building that out. From my perspective, I'm not even a dad. I don't even would know how to start, but I don't know.
I think
I just feel like there's something that you start.
the
at that age.
assertiveness and like obedience, I think like will come later on once they get a little older to where they can understand why.
Mhm.
But when
Yeah.
it comes when they're young, they're not going to understand the why. So you have to get them used to like that habit, and they have to understand like just because they see something and they want it doesn't mean that you're going to get it every time. And when you don't get it, you're going to cry. And then they translate into like the toddler stage.
Right.
And then that's where you get those little
'Cause
booger
those-
nosed
'Cause
toddlers
those
that
little
likes to
kids
take
would
toys.
know if I do this, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
But it's not the correct behavior.
No. So
you know?
sometimes I gotta tell my youngest, I'm like, dude, no.
Because most of the time, when
not doing that.
those kids cry, they're not crying. They don't got tears coming out of their eyes. You know,
No,
just-
yeah.
right?
Or sometimes they have tears in their eyes, but the moment that you give them something,
They're like,
yeah, perfectly fine. It's like,
Even-
yeah.
even
That's
my-
how you know that they just
Even my
Just that
baby
one.
does that. Like I know now, like okay, there's certain cries that she does because she wants this versus what she wants or how she's feeling. Like I can see it when she's legit hurt and like she's like so upset. You can see tears, but when she's like faking that, she's not crying for real. And I'm like, stop it. Like you're just you're just being
But some people
extra
they're-
right now.
They're very like soft and they don't know how to navigate that, and they just don't know that like you can't just say yes all the
Right.
time.
no, of course, it's a
Right.
balance, of course.
Having that understanding that like once they get a little bit older, you will be able to teach them the why behind certain things. And of course, sometimes there's times where it's like, okay, cool, like fine, you can have the toy, you can have both toys, or if you have something in your hand, like let them play with it or something like that. So they're curious. They're
Mhm.
curious. And that's what it comes down to, I think, is like the curiosity of wanting to see something or touch something or feel something. It's it all plays a part, but babies are so gentle that motherhood's probably so confusing. Like there's so many different aspects. Like they're so gentle and you want to love them, but then there's also things that you may have to do that they aren't gonna like, but you have to do it for them. They don't know why yet, and
Like some
it just
things
comes
that
with
I'm
time.
seeing right now, or I'm trying to even teach her. Like you can teach babies. I'm trying to teach her how to have her soothe herself on her own
Mhm.
and then sleep on her own. I know she's still pretty young to be in that stage where she can do that, but I'm trying to make her learn that because I don't want it to be we always put her to sleep. You know what I mean? Like we rock her, make sure she's asleep or whatever, and then put her to a bassinet or crib or whatever you use.
Dude,
I want her to lay there and know, okay, it's time for bed. I'm going to put myself to sleep. Because in that, when you become those toddler ages, they're not going to want to sleep on their own crib. They're not going to want to sleep on their own. You're going to have those issues. So I'm trying to like have her do that right now early because our kids now, older ones, and even some older kids, you hear those issues that they don't sleep on their own bed. Those kids put themselves to bed every single night,
Yeah,
and they
like
started that early.
My nephew just started like being okay with, because remember the last time I said that um that it was really easy for me to put him to sleep, and my brother's wife was like, "What? Like he never wants to do that." He just started being okay because I used to have to rock him. Like I used to have to like put the blanket around him, get him comfortable, and then he'll like cry a little bit, and then he'll wind down, and then it's like, okay, cool, and then I can just set him. But he has to be asleep when I send him, because if I put him down and he's not asleep and he sees me getting up walking away, he's gonna cry because he doesn't want to go. And he just now started being like okay with just putting him in the crib, and then you could just be in the room with him, and then he'll fall asleep.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that
trying to
was
make sure
difficult.
that habit doesn't come because I know it's harder when they're older versus right now she doesn't know the difference. And like I read, like making sure if it's a daytime, make sure you're in a bright setting. If it's nighttime, make sure it's a dark setting so she understands, because she doesn't know day night, when she's inside, so she's in this world. She has to get used to the clock of, okay, this is daytime, I can stay up a little bit longer. Nighttime, you want to try to make sure she does stay sleep a little bit longer than daytime, which it's up in the air still.
I think that's like super technical.
Yeah.
I think in reality, it's just like they sleep when they sleep, and
right now,
well, they're
that's
on
what
the
she
schedule that
does.
you choose,
Right. And I don't push her to be on the schedule. She eats if she wants to eat. I don't like restrain it or give her too much because I want her to sleep so fast. I don't do that. If she wants to eat 10-minute intervals, cool, whatever. Let's do that. But if she doesn't care about eating for a couple of hours, but then she hasn't slept yet, but she's okay eating again in 2 hours, okay, cool. Let's do that.
My youngest nephew, he'll eat fruit at any time of the day. But you want to give him like an actual dinner? It's like, you don't want to do it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You give him a thing full of blueberries? He goes, ham. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You give him some chicken nuggets and you cut them up and put it on his little plate. He don't want it.
And I really think it starts with the palate when they're babies. Understanding different like palates.
Dude,
because everything is new to you.
My oldest nephew, they had him try a lot of different things, and that kid just still eats.
Yeah, but kids.
No, he eats a lot of. I think that does. He'll eat.
Kids will be picking when they're early, but they'll get used to it when they're a little bit older.
And even when they're older, you still gotta be like.
You have to introduce
you gotta finish your food,
things.
Man. He'll be like, "Well, I want to go do this." It's like, dude, sit down, take a couple more bites, and then you can go do what you want to do. Like, I want to do this. No, because you haven't eaten your food yet. Oh, I'm like, give me 5 more bites. And he'll go to the table.
And then you grow up and you can just not stop eating, right?
Yeah. And then you just want to eat all the time.
Now you just want to binge everything.
Yeah. And this time you don't get rewarded for it. You just get fat. It's a hard knock life.
Yeah. Switcheroo.
Well,
y'all want to be parents?
I do.
Yes. Not yet.
Good. Good.
Maybe when I'm 30.
30, I feel like is old.
No.
I think I'm going like 28.
Yeah, I mean that's still almost
It's around the
practically
same.
30. I'm so glad I waited.
My brother was
I've
around
talked
that
about this
age.
too, but I'm so glad I had my first one at the time that I did, because I think I would have been a lot worse. Maybe I would have gotten postpartum a lot worse had I had a kid at 20, 21, 18.
And now you have your life figured out.
Right.
And you're adding the baby.
Right.
Because
Because
at 21, you're
imagine
figuring out your life.
Right. What am I gonna do? What kind of job I'm gonna get? If I'm still going to school, you're broke as crap. When, when you're young. So I'm glad
Oh,
we're
you're good.
figuring it
You
out.
have a
You're in a
house,
good
a
spot.
husband,
I
a
think
car.
The only thing
But,
is just don't stress yourself out, bro. Because
job.
all of this stuff that you're like worried about, everybody learns along the way, dude. You'll learn. You'll do things wrong and you'll do things right, and you'll know.
And even certain things like, and then another thing too, and I didn't put two and two together. My husband wasn't staying home when his kids were babies. You know what I mean? He still went out and worked. So some of the stuff is still new to him too.
Yeah. That's good.
Because he's finding out and learning things like, oh, okay.
That's a good experience.
Like this is what happens. This is what this means.
Because
he didn't see it 24 hours, back then, because he was out and about working and he missed out on certain things. Like he missed out on one of his kids taking first steps because he wasn't home. He was at work. So those kind of things like still happens. And even for me, it's a balance because obviously I don't work from home. I'm here. But, I just have to get used to certain things that I may miss out. But I'm going to be active, in her life. And I'm not going to just be like, okay, I'm going to be home and I'm going to watch TV. Like, no, that's my time to spend time with her, But things that he's learning too. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyways, I can go on and on about this conversation. But I appreciate another episode back. So stay tuned for another episode. We drop every week. So please come subscribe, like, comment below. You can always give us a call. We are a law firm. We didn't touch too much on the legal topics today, but we do give legal advice and your services and the needs. Maybe you're dealing with a custody issue after you had a new kid. Maybe you're somebody
that just had a baby that you realize you have the wrong partner for.
Mm-hmm.
And
you need to get child support and custody issues situated.
Just like motherhood. I mean, these things can be navigated with, time and assistance.
Yep. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Legal Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode, you can always give our office a call to schedule your free 30-minute consultation with one of our team members. Check the description below and give us a call today.